Hello, Jangrill. You're first. You should put first. They fight over that. Um, and I'm first. Maybe it's like I'm on time, exactly on time, I think. All right, let me find you guys on YouTube, and then I have to. Let me see something. Doodly doodly do. Probably should. Well, maybe not. Maybe I don't have to do that. All right, let's see. Maybe. Where the heck are you? Did you watch Luke's video? Is this the one? Yeah. Okay, so hi Kato, how are you? All right, so what did everybody? I know Jen did, but I don't know if you watched it, Kate. If you watched the interrogation and you listened to some of that stuff last night from that woman, hello Linda. And what I get out of it, and maybe you get out of it, is that her parents believe everything she tells them about the guy, even though they've only seen the guy do good things. Like when the father said these hedges needed trimming and he just had his gallbladder out and he has congestive heart failure and all this stuff, and he couldn't get up on the ladder. The guy went and he did it immediately. And everything bad about him we hear was said through her, but they didn't see it. And then the craziness where they said that she's on pain meds and then took a test and had fentanyl in her system and said that that's because he's shooting her in the neck with fentanyl and she doesn't know it. I don't believe that at all. And then she's scared to death because his drug dealer friends or something. First of all, I think she's full of crap. Second of all, I want to know, did that guy have a tox screen in the hospital? Was there fentanyl in his system? Because she's probably the one taking the drugs. All of this stuff. And the mother's saying that she has the same fears or something. Did anybody catch all this? And they just seem like they just blindly believe her, even though they've never seen it. She's like, oh, he has two sides, okay? The side we see and the side she tells us about. But then we find out she doesn't have any friends. And the one friend she said she has, she says he turned it against her. Then, could you live with your sister? Could you have gone, oh no, her husband hates me. So, yeah, there's a lot of, like, she's like, problems. Anybody notice that? All right, let's see what else I have in these. Case files. Are they this one? Let me see here. Okay. Now, I think I put them. Fake files. Oh, they're over here. That's why. Crazy. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of the interior pictures, and I'm not going to show you his body. It's too graphic. I don't want to look at it. And no. So that was the house. That is the house. Okay. I'm going to go through some of these crime scene photos that I can show you, all right? Let's see. Okay, here's a bullet casing right there. There's another bullet casing right there. And here's the bedroom. You see now there's a cross here. This is a picture of him and her. And let me see here. This is like old times going through the crime scene photos, right? Remember how many times we've done this in the past? We used to do it all the time when there were constant cases we were looking at. We're going to get back into that with and then there's this might have been stuff that he just brought home from the hospital. It looks like there's a new package of underwear. Looks like deodorant or something. There's a washing machine right there. Okay. Alright, that looks like contact lens solution. And there's a bullet hole. And they have pictures of the gun. You can see there's bullet holes in the door to the apartment, almost like she came through shooting, or it was on the opposite side. She was in there and hit it. That's probably what it was. Let's see, I don't think she went through the door shooting, because some more bullet holes. Okay. 2731. This is another bullet casing. He's right there. You do see a foot there. There is a cat door or something right there. Let's move that over. So there's the door. So literally he's right here. That was his foot. That wasn't graphic. I mean, there's no blood or anything. Okay, but I'm not going to show any of the other portions. Let's see. Another one of the house. Another one of the house. That's another bullet. Here's another right there, along with like a whole bunch of cat hair. I think that was, it's by a broom. Let's see. Kitchen, let's see. Some more. She shot him a lot of times, I believe she did. This is the computer area, a bathroom. Up there it says dreams. She have on the walls a little message board. If our cat doesn't blah blah blah. Yeah, she said she didn't have kids, she has cats. Okay. So let's see, what is that? Okay, I'm going to show you some weird stuff too. Okay, so let's see. All right, grandfather clock. Okay. We've got another bullet hole right there. Oh no, those are bad pictures. I'm not showing those. This is very dusty. Oh, okay, now this is a weird part. Look at this. Watch the pictures. Now, we'll have to read in the documents. It's hard to tell if she did that in blood or she had done that before with these crosses, because watch. Wow, that's really, what the heck is that? Very dusty. Thanks. For an otherwise, like, she kept a clean home, that's like so dusty, isn't it? But now watch. See these? I think we'll read about those in the documentation of the crime scene. See, on all of these. So I don't know whether, no, I don't think, it's not blood. It's like she did it with like a glittery paint. Was that their wedding photo? She had blonde hair there. Okay. Go back here. There's the same door with the casing there. That's a close-up. That a close-up. With her finger, yeah, there must be some significance. Wait, you can't hear me, Frilly? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? I hope that you can hear me. Oh, I can just go like this and see if you can hear me. Significance. Yes, you can hear me. Frilly, if you're not hearing me, well, then you're not going to hear me, but you should be hearing me. We're going through crime scene photos right now. Okay. So, oh, hi, little lady. Hi, Frilly. Hi, girl next door. Looks like oil and glitter. Girl next door, thank you for coming on with us. Appreciate that. And hi to everybody that jumped on here when I wasn't looking. Oh, and Linda Uribe, I hope that you're doing well. If you're listening, pop in because I have something to tell you. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. All right, let me see here. Another casing. Oh, I'm glad you just dropped in. Yeah, we're going through this case. This is part 2. We're going to look at a lot of stuff tonight. She just killed her husband the day he got home from having surgery in the hospital after 9 days for kidney stones. Kind of crazy. And immediately when they got home, she killed him and then called 911 and confessed. And then we saw her interview yesterday, and now we're going through the rest of this discovery from the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office. Okay, so there is, let's see what's over there. Hard to tell who that is, maybe. Oh, and then remember they were talking about the temperature of the house. So there is a thermostat picture. Another picture of the bullet hole there. Another close up. Let me see there. We got a fan. The fan was going, I believe they said the fan was going when they got there. Now this is an apartment that her parents built for her, well, converted her 3-car garage to their apartment. Show some love. Thank you, little lady. Okay. Let me see now. Where was I? Go back here. All right, so now, let's see. Sorry, it's raining like crazy now. Okay, here's another one. There's that cross on it again. It's going to be interesting to find out when she started doing this. Not sure why they took that chicken rooster. That's the bathroom. The fan is weird because it's literally, he's in front of that fan. Here's another picture of their bedroom. You see the cross here, right? Remember the mother said the thing about reading the Bible? That got a suitcase there on the floor. I wonder if they went somewhere or... Okay. There's a jewelry box. Looks like a box of minute rice. It might be empty. She might have something else in it. Cat bowl. 3 jars. A back scratcher, an eye mask. Looks like a pillowcase up there. Okay. Himalayan salt lamp. Okay, there we have a better view of that. There's the pictures of the cats. This cat must have died. Shelf. Paw prints. Dragon music box or something. A lotus flower, some room spray. This looks like one of those fleece blankets you make by tying the ends together. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we have. There's another one with that cross on it. Very dusty there. Oh, maybe they were dusting. No, they weren't dusting for fingerprints, were they? They knew, she confessed they had everything, right? Hope, dream, live what you love. There's 2 hooks there. The closet looks pretty bare. Looks like his closet. What she's got here. Wow, that doesn't even look like her, does it? That looks like somebody I know, though. There's some more roosters with hats. Joni, was that like her little... She said she couldn't do any work, but it looks like she had a little workstation. Okay, let's see what else. Oh, and that was another thing. She said she was starting her job at the Dollar Tree, but then her mother didn't even know, right? Okay, so let's go to, we looked at, hold on a minute. Okay, let's pull these over here, right? I'm gonna sneeze, I'm sorry. Okay. Let me... Oh my goodness. Thank you. Okay, now I want to dismiss this. Hold on a minute. It's not letting me dismiss that stupid thing over there. Dismiss. Thank you. Okay, so description, premeditated murder. Hi, Slam. How are you? You don't hear anything, Slam? Can anyone hear? I don't know. We're going to find out, girl next door. We're going to find out. She said she killed him first. Do you want to hear the 911 call again? Those of you that missed it, we can do the 911 call if you want. And just so you hear, I'll just let you hear the very beginning of it. If you want to, if you missed it, we can do that real quick. Let me see. Hang on 1 second.
What was your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I just killed my husband.
You just killed your husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your address?
2731 Northeast Hollingsworth Street.
Northwest Hollingsworth Street? Okay,
Northeast Hollingsworth Street.
Okay, and why did you do that?
I believe I'm insane.
You said you believe you're insane?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your name?
Joni Truman.
Jamie Truman?
Joni Truman.
Truman, okay. And how did you kill him, Miss Joni?
With a 9mm pistol.
And do you still have the weapon on you?
I gave it to my parents.
Do your parents are there?
My parents are inside the house, and I'm standing outside in the driveway.
Okay. And you said you killed him because you believe you're sane?
I believe I am insane.
You believe you're insane? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
She's 38 years old.
All right. And are there any more weapons in the house, Miss Truman?
Yes, ma'am. But I'm not in the house. I'm outside.
Okay. Okay, and where did you shoot him at?
In the apartment. There's an apartment attached to the house.
Okay. But where at on the body?
I don't know. I shot him multiple times.
Shot him multiple times? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and do you know what happened before this, Miss Joni?
I've just been, I don't know. Like I said, I believe he was the devil.
She believes he was the devil.
Okay. All right, and did he try to stop you from shooting him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And what's his name?
Gregory Turman.
Okay. Do you know if you shot him in the face, maybe?
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't sound insane. She sounds like a big liar, a pathological liar.
All right, you said he was going to be in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and where at, like when they're coming in off of...
When you're coming down Cubitas, you're going to make a left onto driveway.
Maybe. She says one other thing in
All
here.
right, just...
Okay.
And were y'all going through any marital issues?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted a divorce, and he wouldn't divorce me.
Okay.
That's basically what she said. She wanted a divorce. He wouldn't divorce her. And if you see the crime scene photos, I mean, she shot him so many times, and there was so much blood, and the majority of it was in his head. And yet, when she asked her, did you shoot him in the head? She didn't know. You know? So, yeah. All right, let's go back to the... And the whole call is on last night's video. If you want to listen to it, you're able to go back there and listen to it. But let's see what's in here now. So, okay, so it says on 4/2, because I want to hear what the officer's impression was, right? At 6:39 p.m. And they were supposed to go to Red Lobster, right? The house doesn't look like it was all her. Yeah, her parents lived in the main house, like, and they converted a 3-car garage for her, but then she had gone back to living with her mother, and father, in their house, and he was living there alone, allegedly. But let's see what she says. A female who identified herself as Joni Truman called 911. When asked what her emergency was, she very calmly stated, "Yes, ma'am, I just killed my husband." She further advised dispatch that she killed him with a 9mm pistol, which was now secured with her parents. When dispatch asked why she killed her husband, she replied, "I believe I am insane." And then the dispatcher thought she said, "I believe I'm a saint." Joni provided the address and dispatch arrived. She gave the gun she used to kill. Okay. Now it goes through what we just saw here. The 9mm casings, all of those that they found. The chain necklace pendant. I didn't show you that picture because it was beside the victim. But there was a chain, a necklace, a pendant beside the victim. A cell phone red case located next to the computer. We saw that cell phone pink case located in the driveway. A 9mm casing located under the body. Okay, then she had a black 9mm magazine, the pistol, the suspect's shirt. I didn't show you this stuff because it was on him. Not the suspect's shirt. They showed his shirt. This was the stuff we saw them coming out of that changing room at the jail, right? So they did take the underwear. They took the shirt, the bra, and the jeans. They took her flip-flops, her necklace, eyeglasses. Yeah, here's the narrative. Her husband to her parents. She advised that there were additional weapons inside the house and she would be waiting outside in the driveway for law enforcement's arrival. When the dispatcher asked Joni where she shot her husband, she stated, "I don't know. I shot him multiple times." Joni advised that she shot her husband in their apartment. When the dispatcher asked what occurred prior to the shooting, Joni stated, "I believe he was the devil." Joni advised that her husband did try to stop her from shooting him. Joni provided the dispatcher with accurate directions to her residence, starting at, I believe it was Curtis Avenue, but I don't know, Cabitis Avenue. She advised she would be standing in the driveway and she would show law enforcement where to locate Gregory. Joni stated that she wanted a divorce and Gregory wouldn't divorce her. Joni said she was unhappy with Gregory and that she didn't love him. Joni stated that her parents didn't see what happened. She grabbed the gun, went over, shot him, came back in and told them, "I did it. It was done." Joni stated that her mom broke down bawling and her dad took the gun from her. They told her she shouldn't have done that. Joni said her mom wanted to call 911, but she was too hysterical, so she called herself. Throughout the 911 call, Joni was calm and composed. While Joni was speaking with dispatch, her mother, Vicki Holder, also called dispatch. Joni could be heard on the phone telling her mother, "It's okay. It's okay." A second 911 call, she actually said, "I believe I'm a saint." She'd have a better argument for insanity. Yeah, probably, right, girl next door? So, second call was made. Vicki was frantically crying and stated, "My daughter just shot her husband. My daughter just killed her husband." Vicki said her daughter, Joni Truman, used it to kill her husband. Hold on a minute. Excuse me. Vicki stated that Joni snuck Vicki's gun from under her pillow and used it to kill her husband. Vicki stated the gun was taken from Joni and it's lying on the table now. Vicki stated that Joni has been going crazy because he wouldn't divorce her and she doesn't want to stay married to him because she couldn't trust him and he's evil. Vicki stated she heard 5 shots. Vicki said that Joni and Greg had just gotten home from the hospital and went into their apartment. Vicki said she didn't know Joni had a gun, but her dad, Jerry, saw her with it, but somehow it didn't click because he's sick. Vicki stated that the gun was kept. Now, see, that's not what the father said because we listened to the father. So whoever wrote this, the father said he saw Joni come into the apartment and he thought she was going to the bathroom. He said the next thing he knew, he heard the gunshots and thought she was shooting at a raccoon or a stray dog because they shoot at the ground to scare them away. But he heard so many, he was wondering what she was doing. He never said he saw her with the gun. So whoever put this narrative down is mistaken here. So, so where was I? Jerry saw it but didn't click. Vicky stated that the gun was kept under her pillow for protection because, and see, Joni said, I believe the gun was in her mother's nightstand drawer. I believe that's what she said. For protection because her husband has been in the hospital and she has been alone. Vicky stated that Joni was going crazy and seeing people come up in the yard in her mind. Vicky stated she loved Greg, and so did Joni, but Joni wanted a divorce, desperately. Vicky said that Greg mind-controlled Joni, and that Joni also woke up dead one day with her tongue hanging out. Yeah, this one, right? And that he drugged her, right? I don't believe any of that. Vicky said she made Joni move back into the main house with her. Vicky said Joni had fentanyl in her system and she doesn't do that, so she believed that Greg was drugging her. Vicky said that Joni had just gotten home from the hospital after picking up Greg and Jerry, who were both hospitalized. Well, that's not true either, because Jerry was picked up by the sister and they met at the Circle K, and then they were all going to go to Red Lobster. And then the father said, he asked her when she came in for the gun, "Are you ready to go to Red Lobster?" And she said, "Yeah." And then he asked her if Greg was going, and she said, "Yes." Okay, so Vicky stated that Greg and Joni had been having a horrible argument. They were all planning to go to Red Lobster. Vicky advised that her daughter isn't a bad person. Greg has just been pushing her to the edge. Corporal Ethan Vitale arrived on scene at 6:45 and located two females standing in the driveway. Corporal Vitale could be heard on the 911 call asking where he was, and Joni said, "My husband, the one I killed." That's what she said. "My husband, the one I killed," was taken into Joni was taken into custody at that time and transported to the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office interview room. Corporal Vitale confirmed that Joni's husband, Gregory Turman, was shot multiple times in the head. He was pronounced deceased by DeSoto County Fire and Rescue emergency medical technician Tim Alley at 6:50 p.m. The firearm used in the crime was located by Deputy Claude Blosser in Joni's parents' living room and turned over to Corporal Vitale to secure for evidentiary purposes. Okay. Sergeant Jennifer Bailey arrived on scene at 6:48. While en route, I requested that the units on scene, Corporal Vitale, Sergeant Buddy Lewis, and Deputy Dustin Baker, secure the crime scene with tape and start a crime scene entry-exit log to preserve the integrity of the scene. Detective Samuel Buck and Detective Nicholas Tribble responded to the sheriff's office to interview Joni and collect her clothing. After being advised of her Miranda rights, Joni was interviewed by Detective Buck and Detective Tribble. Let's see what they said. During the interview, Joni stated that she and Gregory were on their way back from Sarasota, Florida earlier today, and she made the decision that she was going to kill him. Joni stated that she made this decision because Gregory refused to give her a divorce, and he was controlling her life. Joni said she got the firearm and went after Gregory. He lunged at her and attempted to prevent her from shooting him, at which time she fired 4 or 5 times at Gregory. Joni's clothing, shirt, bra, underwear, pants, flip-flops, glasses, and necklace were collected as evidence after the interview. See, I don't know why they take your glasses. What if you're blind as a bat? Then you can't even see? That doesn't seem okay. Why did they take her glasses? I notified victims advocate Al Jenna Hoskins at the request of Sergeant Buddy Lewis, who was providing scene security. Ms. Hoskins responded and spoke with Joni's parents, Jerry and Vicky Holder, who were in the main residence when the incident occurred. The crime scene was a garage apartment with the living room and kitchen immediately. As soon as you enter the door, there were 2 doors to the apartment, one that led outside through the bedroom and one that led to the lanai area which was a common space shared by the main house. The main house had its own entrance exit. From outside of the apartment, I observed Gregory's body lying in the doorway to the apartment that he and Joni resided in. She just seemed so calm for what she did. Yeah, she did. You wonder if she went on and off her meds. Okay. Or taking any other drugs in, conjunction with, which it seems like with the fentanyl, it seems like they wouldn't give her it's just a mess. Okay, so it said, from outside of the apartment, I observed Gregory's body lying in the doorway to the apartment that he and Joni resided in. He was deceased with what appeared to be several gunshot wounds to the head, face area. There were numerous spent casings surrounding him on the floor. Based on the aforementioned evidence and information, there was probable cause to believe evidence relating to this investigation is within the apartment. A search warrant was granted and signed by DeSoto County Circuit Court Judge Don Hall. Okay. The medical examiner's office was notified by Lieutenant Jose Raya. I spoke with the medical examiner, Sean Walker, who advised she would be responding to the scene, and based on the information, we could proceed with the collection of evidence as long as the victim's body wasn't moved or disturbed prior to her arrival. After executing the search warrant, I entered the residence and observed the victim, Greg Truman, to be lying on his back with his right arm bent up over his body. He was wearing a gray shirt and blue boxer briefs. He still had 2 hospital admission bracelets on his left wrist. There was a large pool of coagulated blood surrounding his head and upper body. There was a large amount of blood on his face, neck, and head, making it difficult to determine where and how many times he was shot. He did have blood pouring heavily out of his left ear and his nose. There were small chunks of brain on the floor. Next to his head. There was a small hole in the front of his shirt consistent with a bullet hole, but there was no blood surrounding that area. There was a broken necklace next to him. There were spent casings scattered on the floor in the kitchen and living room area, indicating that this area is the primary crime scene. There was a bullet hole in the front door, one in the ceiling, and one that grazed a TV stand and lodged inside of a speaker, consistent with shots being fired without aim during a struggle. On the bed in their bedroom, there was a bag of clothing and hospital discharge paperwork for Greg. He had been hospitalized for kidney stones for a few days, 9 days, guys, and he was released on 4/2/2021. It appeared that he was in the process of changing clothes when the altercation began. Terrible. There were numerous photos of Greg. Okay, maybe they're going to talk about this now. Greg and Joni displayed all over the residence, and aside from the struggle that occurred, the residence appeared organized and clean. The TV was on in the bedroom. While checking the nightstand on the northeast side of the bed, I located several documents with Joni's name on them. Feminine products, manicure kit, and other items indicating that nightstand belonged to Joni. The top drawer contained miscellaneous paperwork and items, including love letters from Greg. Whoa, look at this, where he is begging her to stay with him and work through their problems. The second and third drawer of the nightstand contained empty jars and pill bottles and miscellaneous paraphernalia used to smoke marijuana. The odor of marijuana was present, as were small pieces of marijuana shake, not enough to collect. Nothing of evidentiary value was located in the nightstand belonging to Greg, aside from his wallet with driver's license, photo used to confirm his identity. There was a large suitcase in front of the dresser. It was filled with men's clothing. The water in the bathroom sink was left on and was trickling. There was a second suitcase in the area next to the kitchen where the computer was, and it contained women's clothing. The following items of evidence were collected at the crime scene. the casings, the broken chain and necklace with the cross pendant. See, we got to get that. And there's something significant. The cross, the pendant, maybe she ripped it off his neck or he ripped it off her neck, whatever. The necklace located next to the victim. A small section of drywall that was cut behind the front door. The drywall had a bullet hole in it and blood, brain matter spattered on it. One mushroom bullet located on inside of the wall where the drywall was cut out. Red cell phone in a red case, cell phone in a pink case. The pink case phone belonged to the suspect. The red one belonged to the victim. Okay, medical examiner Sean Walker arrived on scene at 10:41. Dr. Vega examined the body, determined that there were gunshot wounds to the victim's right upper abdomen, the left side of his neck, his left ear, his lower left cheek, his upper back. Due to the dried blood and position of the body, Dr. Vega was not able to determine which wounds were entry or exit wounds until the completion of the autopsy. Dr. Vega advised that the victim had stippling on his left shoulder and left side of his face, which is consistent with being shot at close range. Dr. Vega confirmed that there were small pieces of brain matter on the floor next to the victim's head. Dr. Vega also examined the piece of drywall collected as evidence and confirmed that the spatter on it was consistent with blood and brain matter. An additional 9mm casing was located on the floor next to or under the victim's body after the body was moved by Dr. Vega. The casing was collected by Detective Tribble. West Coast EMT arrived on scene and assumed custody of the victim's body for transport to the medical examiner's office. The scene was cleared at 11:37 p.m. All evidence was packaged and processed at the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office. It was secured in an evidence locker. Joni Truman, based on the aforementioned evidence and confessions, was charged pursuant to Florida state statute. Okay. I located an address for Greg's parents, Alan and Laura Truman, who reside at 301 in Via Esplande in Punta Gorda, Florida. I requested that dispatch send Charlotte County Sheriff's Office a teletype requesting assistance with the death notification. I also provided my contact information at 2:59. So now they're going to go tell his parents. Let's see what they say. I received a call from Laura Truman. Laura stated that no one in the family has seen or spoken to Greg in over 5 years. She advised that everything was normal in their life, and all of the sudden, that's what they say, Greg showed up with a girlfriend, Joni. Laura described Joni as very possessive and controlling over Greg. Laura advised that Joni would not allow Greg to communicate with his family because she felt they were bad influences on him. Well, okay, so this is I provided Laura with the contact information for the medical examiner's office. I made contact with Joni Truman. She said her husband, Gregory, called, but he was currently at, wait a minute. I made contact with Joni Truman. She said her husband, Gregory Truman, called, but he was currently at work. Joni explained that she and her husband were having marital issues. She said in July of 2020, a friend from middle school contacted her on Facebook and a relationship began. During her relationship, that was the other thing. Remember the mother was saying she was involved with a man from prison? And then, she wasn't even worried about, she's just like, well, he's in prison, but you're not divorced yet. It was all okay and everything. I was so crazy. Now let's just try to, something's wrong here. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. This is back. Okay. So look at that. She killed him on April 2nd. This happened February 2nd. Look at that. February 2nd. 2 months prior. They responded to that address in reference to threats complaint. Dispatch advised the wife had been talking with a male that was in jail in Georgia. That's what the mother was talking about. See why you've got to read this stuff? The male claimed he was coming to get her and take her away. Remember, the mother said thought she was going to be kidnapped? I made contact with Joni Truman. She said her husband, Gregory Truman, called, but he was currently at work. And didn't they say he doesn't work? He doesn't work, right? Yeah. Joni explained that she and her husband were having marital issues. She said in July of 2020, a friend from middle school contacted her on Facebook and a relationship began. Hi, Bucky Ann. Let's see. During the relationship, there was talk about Joni leaving her husband and her and this friend, David Rory. Oh, so the guy, she knew him from school. Okay. And he was in prison. Okay. David Rory being together. Joni said David had been arrested several months ago and they had been in contact through the Mitchell County Jail telephone system. Oh boy, we should get those calls, shouldn't we? Joni said she and David had broken off the relationship with each other several times over the past several months, and contact had ceased in December of 2020. Joni said prior to ending contact, David told her he was coming to get her when he got out of jail. Joni said there was no direct threats to her to take her by force or any other means, but suspicious people had been near the property recently, and he was due to get out of jail soon. Joni said she was afraid of Gregory and what he might do, but could not explain why she was afraid. Joni said she informed Gregory of the relationship she was having with David. Joni said Gregory contacted the jail this morning to find out wait, hold on a minute. Where was it? Joni said she informed Gregory. Joni said Gregory contacted the jail to find out when David was being released. They were advised that David had already been released on February 1st. Wow. Okay. Joni requested a report to be completed to have a paper trail started in the event something took place. An affidavit was completed by Joni. On April 5th, the autopsy was conducted. On April 6th, I spoke with the medical examiner, Sean Walker, who advised that the autopsy was conducted and the ME located 5 to 6 gunshot wounds, cause of death, gunshot wounds, manner of death, homicide, case to remain open pending receipt of the final ME report. A search warrant for Joni's cell phone was signed by the DeSoto County Circuit Court. I wonder what's in Joni's cell phone, right? Okay, so this is another one that is self-mental. They arrived, they found the suspect deceased, and they placed the crime scene tape and left. And then we have another one. Upon arrival, I observed 2 females standing in the driveway. I asked them where she was, referring to the suspect. One of the females, later identified as Joni Truman, stated her husband was in the apartment and said she killed him. I detained Joni and secured her in my patrol vehicle. Oh, this must be Ethan, right? Yeah. Okay. I entered the apartment through the main door. To the left, I observed a white male on the ground in a supine position. His head was oriented to the west, his feet to the east. There was also a large amount of blood on his face and on the ground. I checked the subject for a pulse, was unable to locate one. EMS was notified that the scene was safe, and Sergeant Lewis stood by while they were en route. I exited the apartment and stood by with Joni. Deputy Blosser located a black high-point pistol, 9mm, inside the main residence. I took custody of the firearm and transported Joni to the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, where I turned the firearm and Joni over to Detective Buck and Detective Tribble. And here's another one that arrived. When she arrived, Corporal Ethan Vitale had Joni handcuffed in the back of his patrol car. I made contact with Ethan Vitale at the door to the apartment. He was standing up and said he's dead. Rescue arrived on scene and Tim Allen pronounced him dead. Deputy Blouser went with Joni's father, Jerry Holder, and secured the handgun. Corporal Vitale started a crime scene log and turned it over to me. Deputy Baker started putting up crime scene tape. I took Jerry and his wife, Vicky, inside the main house. Vicky said Joni had recently tested positive for fentanyl during a blood test. Vicky said she thinks Greg must have drugged Joni. She said Joni wanted to divorce Greg, but he wouldn't do it. Vicky, 2 days ago, Joni said she thinks she was drugged last night because she did things. Oh, this is terrible. She did things she never would have done. Vicky said she could tell Joni was holding something in. Jerry spoke up and said, if she would have just told me, I would have kicked his ass out of here. We would have been done with it. Vicky went on to say she don't know why Joni killed Greg. Jerry said he was inside the main house when he heard the gunshots. He said he went outside and Joni was coming out of the apartment with the gun. He said he asked her what she did. Joni replied, you'll see. Jerry said he saw Greg, took the gun away from Joni, and took it inside the house. Sergeant Bailey and Lieutenant Raya arrived on scene, and the scene was turned over to them. I stayed on scene and helped keep the scene until a search warrant could be completed. I started the medical examiner's form, the ME form, and the crime scene log, and turned it over to Lieutenant Raya. Okay, and this is another one that's nothing really, just the same. Okay, let's see. This one arrived on scene. They're doing the search warrant. Okay, here we go. While driving to the DeSoto County Sheriff's Office, I was advised by Sergeant Jennifer Bailey, a female, later identified as Joni Truman, had been arrested. I was instructed to meet with Detective Samuel Buck to interview her. Detective Buck explained Joni had called 911 and stated to the dispatchers that she had shot her husband. Detective Buck and I entered the interview room where Joni was being detained by Corporal Ethan Vitale. We explained to Joni what we knew about the 911 call and that we wished to speak with her. Detective Buck advised her of her Miranda warning, which she read from a prepared card. Joni understood her rights and agreed to speak with us. During the interview, Joni explained that her husband, Gregory Turman, had been recently admitted to the hospital, Bayfront in Port Charlotte, Florida, due to kidney stones. She said Gregory drove himself to the hospital in his own truck, and she later today drove them there as well in her own vehicle to meet with him as she was being released. Joni said her father was also admitted to the same hospital and released at a similar time. Joni said Gregory has caused her family turmoil over the course of their marriage, which was nearly 7 years. She said Gregory was controlling, possessive, and manipulative. Joni said Gregory pushed her over the edge, and she felt she had no other options to escape the marriage. She said she could not leave the residence because he damaged her car. She could not stay with friends because she had no friends. She could not stay with her sister Shannon because she does not get along with Shannon's husband. She said she felt like a burden to everyone because she is unemployed. Joni said he refused to divorce her multiple times when she requested it and described herself as feeling trapped. Joni said when Gregory was released from the hospital, he left the hospital in his own vehicle. She said since her father was also released, he rode with her on their way home, while Gregory followed Joni and her father. Joni said she had made the conscious decision during the drive home that once she was home, she was going to use her parents' firearm to kill Gregory. Joni said she knew where the firearm was and believed she had no other options to escape her situation. Joni took into account the consequences and outcome of her planned action, but it did not change her mindset, as her mind was made up. Joni said her sister Shannon and the rest of the family had decided they were going to go from the hospital to their home, get dressed, and go to Red Lobster together. Shannon did not go to Jodi's residence. While home, Joni said that she went into her parents' apartment bedroom nightstand. See, I told you it was the nightstand, not the pillow. Retrieved a black 9mm handgun from the drawer and made her way towards the apartment. Okay. The residence is a large residence with Joni and her parents residing on the house portion of the residence. There's an apartment which was formerly a multi-car garage that was converted into a one-bedroom, one-bath apartment. Due to their relationship issues, Joni resides in the house portion with her family, and Gregory resided alone in the apartment. The apartment is separated from the house by a lanai, an indoor porch area. Joni said the door was locked, so she knocked, and Gregory opened the door. She said Gregory was standing in front of the refrigerator, and it appeared as if he was getting a drink. Joni said she raised the firearm at Gregory, and he asked, "What is that?" And she replied to him, "It's a gun." Joni said he came toward her in what she believed was an attempt to take the firearm from her, but after a short struggle, she shot him approximately 4 to 5 times. Joni said she immediately walked back towards the house where her parents were and turned the firearm over to her father. She said he asked her what she had done, and she told him she shot Gregory. Joni said her mother broke down hysterically, and due to this, knew her mother was incapable of calling 911. Joni said she called 911 and told dispatchers she shot Gregory and awaited the arrival of law enforcement. Before law enforcement arrived, she also texted her sister, Shannon, and told her where was I? Hold on a minute. And told her that she shot Gregory. Joni described her phone as an LG Stylo 6, which she said she dropped in the driveway upon being arrested. Joni provided a passcode of 103157 on her phone, and her phone number, blah, blah, blah. Don't even bother calling it. It's gone. It's 5 years ago. Okay. Towards the end of the interview, she referred to being insane multiple times, and she claimed Gregory was the devil. She did say she had taken prescribed antidepressant medication and mood stabilizers. She said she didn't have money for a divorce. Her parents could not afford to lend her money for a divorce, and due to being unemployed, she didn't have insurance for mental health care. Joni ultimately confessed to shooting Gregory, stating she felt that there were no other resolution and that she felt trapped. Jodi admitted to planning the shooting during her drive home from Charlotte County, and she planned to specifically use her parents' firearm when she arrived at their residence. Joni was subsequently booked into the DeSoto County Jail. Hello, White Angel. I then relocated to the crime scene location where Detective Buck and I conducted witness interviews with Joni's parents. We first spoke with Joni's mother, Vicki Holder. Vicki said Joni has been suffering severely mentally due to her relationship with Gregory. Vicki described various incidents of such as Gregory being a drug addict, owing drug dealers money, but this is all coming from her daughter's mouth, right? And allegedly breaking into the house to drug Joni with fentanyl in her sleep. Yeah, okay. Vicki said Joni's mental state was unstable, and she believed it was only a matter of time before she was pushed too far. She described Joni as desperate and believes Joni felt she had no way out. Vicki said Gregory has always been respectful and productive with them and does whatever they ask of him. See, it's so crazy. It was apparent that Vicki had not witnessed any of the many allegations of Gregory's behavior and was receiving information from Joni only. She said that Joni had told her, "You don't know him like I know him." Yeah, she was fooling you, guys. Feel bad. She really had her parents snowed. Regarding the shooting, Vicky said she was sitting with another resident of the household she refers to as a client, Karen, and her husband, Jerry Holder. She said she saw Joni go in their bedroom and then back out again. She said shortly after she heard rapid gunshots and sprung to her feet. Vicky said that she knew it was her firearm that had been used because she's familiar with the firearm sound. Vicky said she knew Joni had shot Gregory. She said Joni came in with the firearm and said she shot Gregory. Vicky said she believes Joni called 911 herself. We then spoke to Joni's father, Jerry Holder. Jerry corroborated most of what Vicky said and regarding the alleged incidents Gregory had done. I asked why Joni would kill Gregory, and Jerry stated because he's an a-hole. However, while speaking with Jerry, it was still apparent he had not witnessed any of these incidents and was only hearing the incidents from either Vicky or Joni's perspective. Jerry described Gregory as respectful and said he would do anything he was asked with no complaints. Wow. Regarding the shooting, Jerry said he was sitting down with Vicky and Karen in one of the living room areas and saw Joni walk through the room and towards what he thought was the bathroom. See, this is the thing. He didn't know she had the gun. He said Joni walked back through with the firearm. See, did he say that? I didn't hear him say that. See, I didn't hear him say he saw that, but maybe he did. Maybe because it was low and it was with all that beeping. So maybe he did say that because there was all that beeping. Okay. Okay. And he said that he saw her with the firearm in her hand. Jerry said they frequently have issues with pest animals like raccoons, so he thought nothing of it. Jerry said he heard multiple rapid gunshots and wondered what she was shooting that many times. He said he got up and asked what she had done and she told him, "You'll see." Jerry said he went inside the apartment and observed Gregory had been shot. He took the firearm from Joni and believed Vicky had called 911. I then assisted Sergeant Bailey and other detectives with the execution of the search warrant, which was completed the same night. I completed the search warrant inventory form as detectives located multiple bullet casings and other pieces of evidence. See search warrant inventory for details. Sergeant Bailey and I waited for the arrival of the medical examiner. Investigators for scene examination and West Coast Medical for body removal. During the external examination conducted by Dr. Vega, I observed and photographed any visible external injuries to the body. These photographs were later provided to Sergeant Bailey. During removal of the body, I located an additional casing that was pushed around when moving the couch adjacent to the body. This concludes my involvement in this case. Okay. Okay, so this is while driving to the sheriff's office, I would advise the female. This is once at the sheriff's office, Tribble and I entered the interview room. I explained to Joni that Corporal Tribble and I were there to speak with her about the incident and read her rights to her and read her rights to her from my Miranda card, to which she waived and agreed to speak to Corporal Tribble and I. During the interview, Joni said her husband, Gregory Truman, had been at the Bayfront Hospital in Port Charlotte for 9 days. She said Gregory was released that day after getting kidney stones removed that morning. Joni said she was with Gregory since approximately 8:15 a.m. that morning during the surgery. When he was released, Joni and Gregory spoke about putting gas in her father's car, so Gregory drove his truck. She drove her father's car to the gas station. Joni said her and Gregory went to Circle K Gas, located at the corner of Midway Boulevard and Kings Highway in Port Charlotte. Joni said she and Gregory were at the gas station for approximately 30 minutes to put gas in her dad's car and air in the tires of the truck. She said her sister, Shannon, dropped their dad off for her, Joni, to take home with him, to take him home with her. She then drove with her father, and Gregory drove by himself back to their home in Arcadia. She later stated she had made the decision to kill Gregory during the drive home with her dad. Joni said she stayed in the main residence with her parents, and Gregory stayed in the separate garage her parents had converted into an apartment for her and Gregory. Joni said after arriving home at 6 o'clock, she went inside to use the bathroom. After using the bathroom, she went into her parents' room and retrieved a gun. Joni said she retrieved the firearm from her dad's nightstand next to her parents' bed where her parents kept the guns. Joni said the gun was black 9mm pistol. After getting the gun, Joni said she walked next door and shot him. When Joni was asked to further explain the details when entering the apartment, she said she knocked on the door to the apartment due to it being locked, so Gregory unlocked it. When Joni walked in, Gregory was standing in front of the refrigerator getting a drink, and he asked what she was doing. She said she pulled the gun, making it known to Gregory that she had the firearm. Then she said Gregory asked, "What is that?" To which she responded, "It's a gun." Joni could not remember if there were any further conversation. Joni said Gregory sat his drink down and came towards her to try to stop her from shooting him. A struggle ensued, and she shot him. Joni did not remember where she shot Gregory or how many times she shot at him. Joni said Gregory drove her over the edge and caused her family turmoil. She said Gregory damaged her car and the truck, and he did not want to work, and he would not divorce her. Joni mentioned when her and her family believed Gregory had tried to break into their home due to a window being damaged, and provided other instances that led her to that point. Joni said everything had just been building up, and she saw shooting Gregory as her only way out. Joni said she was trapped and made the decision to kill Gregory. She said she had not thought about shooting Gregory prior to that day. When I asked Joni about the events leading up to her shooting Gregory, if she had second guessed what she was doing, Joni said no. Joni said she knew shooting Gregory was going to hurt her family due to what she had done, but she knew they were scared of him. When I asked if during making that decision she had taken everything going on into consideration and the conclusion was to shoot Gregory, Joni agreed that she had. Joni said she believed that she shot Gregory 4 or 5 times. Joni said after shooting Gregory, she walked back to her parents' house and gave her dad the gun. She told her dad she had shot Gregory, which her dad said she should not have done that. Joni said her mother was hysterical, so Joni called 911. Joni also mentioned texting her sister that she killed Gregory. Wow. Hi, Sassy. Okay. When asked how she felt during the interview, Joni said she felt terrible that she had done a terrible thing and that she was remorseful. Joni did not mention any arguments or disagreements between her and Gregory that day when asked. Joni did say Gregory was taking it easy due to the surgery and the doctor was ordering him to. I asked Joni if she believed when Gregory saw the gun and began to come towards her, he's trying to stop her and get the weapon away from her. Joni nodded yes. I asked Joni if she still has feelings for Gregory, which she shook her head that she did not. Joni said afterwards she wished she had never done it and that she wished she could take it back. Towards the end of the interview, when I advised Joni that she was going to be booked into that jail, she uttered that Gregory had driven her insane. She believed she was insane and that she was ashamed of it. She also said she believed Gregory was the devil. Joni said she called her mom that morning and told her that she needed her mom now. When asked if she had sought out any mental health assistance, Joni said she had previously, but she has not been able to recently due to Gregory changing jobs and not having health insurance for her. She mentioned being on mood stabilizers and antidepressants, but she said she ran out of antidepressants and was almost out of mood stabilizers. She said that with everything going on with her parents' health, she had been hearing voices in her head and said Gregory was the devil. She said in order to save the world, she had to kill him. At the end of the conversation, Joni said she did not want to be insane, and her mom tried to save her. Joni also repeated numerous times that she did not want to be insane. She became emotional when speaking, but then rapidly spoke clearly with no emotion when answering questions. Joni said her parents did not have money to allow her to borrow for a divorce. Joni said she could not live with her sister in Punta Gorda due to Joni and her sister's husband not getting along. Joni said she felt like a burden and could not handle all the stress. After the interview was completed, I took photographs of Joni's hands, front and back, and all of her clothed full body, front and back, with her standing up. Joni was taken to the jail, and all of her clothing and personal items were collected in separate bags for evidentiary purposes. Joni's clothing and personal items were provided to Jennifer Bailey, Sergeant Jennifer Bailey. Once Joni was in the DeSoto County Jail, Tribble and I responded to Joni's residence where Sergeant Bailey was completing a search warrant. Corporal Tribble and I entered Joni's parents' home and spoke to each of them separately. We first spoke to Joni's mom, Vicky. Vicky reported a majority of what Joni had advised us about Gregory's health problems. Vicky said Joni had been going through a lot of mental issues due to Gregory. Vicky mentioned several instances about Gregory breaking into the home due to a window being pushed in, him sneaking into the house and injecting Joni with fentanyl, how Joni had been trying to divorce Gregory, and numerous other occurrences. Vicky said Gregory was a meth addict and owed drug dealers money. Vicky said Joni had put up extra door locks and security systems due to Joni claiming Gregory had come into the home, taken her out of the home, and drugged her. Vicky said Joni believed Gregory had drugged her with fentanyl due to a drug test her doctor ordered. Vicky said the evening prior at dinner, Joni was sitting at the dinner table trying to adjust her mouth. Due to her irregular behavior that night, Vicky asked Joni if she was okay, which Joni said she was. Vicky did say that Joni texted her that morning saying she needed her, which Joni previously mentioned. Vicky said that evening that her husband and her live-in client Karen were in the living room ready to go to Red Lobster after the family had decided to go there for dinner. While sitting in the home, Vicky heard several fast gunshots. She said she immediately jumped up because she knew it was her gun. Vicky said she already knew what Joni had done, meaning that Joni had killed Gregory. Vicky said her husband walked out onto the porch but could not go into the apartment and see Gregory dead. During the conversation, Vicky did get emotional during the conversation, explaining that she knew Joni had shot Gregory. Vicky explained that Joni told her dad she had shot Gregory, went into their house and put the gun onto the table, then walked out into the driveway. Vicky said they loved Gregory. He was always nice to her and her husband, and that he was part of their family. When asked if she had seen any of the incidents that Joni had mentioned about Gregory doing drugs, abusing her, or sneaking into the home, Vicky said no, and that they had heard it all from Joni. The only instance Vicky mentioned was when Gregory had hung a picture for her that fell after he had left the room. Vicky said Joni has mentioned being so mad at Gregory before she could hurt him. Joni told her she had to leave the room where Gregory was so she didn't hurt him. We next spoke to Joni's dad, Jerry. Jerry concurred Joni's statement about them driving back from Port Charlotte. He said when he got home, he changed and sat in the living room with Karen. He saw Joni go towards his bedroom, but he figured she had gone to use the bathroom due to several rooms being down that particular hallway. When Joni came back into the living room, see, there, he didn't say it. See, I don't know which one is right. This is the version I heard. When Joni came back into the living room, Jerry asked Joni if she was ready to go, and she said yes. Jerry said He did see Joni walk through. Oh, see, I didn't hear him say that with the gun. I don't know. With a gun, but he assumed she was going to shoot at a raccoon or a stray dog in the yard was a normal occurrence. I probably didn't hear it because of those beeps. He said he and his wife and Joni often shoot at the ground outside to scare the animals away. Jerry went outside and Joni was coming out of the apartment. He asked Joni what happened, to which Joni responded, "You'll see." Jerry looked into the apartment and saw Gregory had been shot. He took the gun from Joni, and Joni walked out onto the driveway talking on the phone. When asked why Joni would have killed Gregory, Jerry said, because he's an a-hole. Jerry said Gregory was injecting Joni with fentanyl without her knowledge. He said Joni had been prescribed pain pills, and when she was drug tested at her doctor's office, she was denied any more prescriptions due to the fentanyl in her system. Jerry said he had not seen any of the physical abuse, arguments, or any evidence of what Joni had said Gregory had done to her. Jerry said Gregory has always been good to him and his wife, but that Joni has told them about bad things Gregory has done. Jerry did mention that Gregory treated them like gold and would do anything they ever asked him to. During the interviews with Vicky and Jerry, none of them had witnessed any of the harmful behavior from Gregory towards Joni that Joni expressed. All the information Vicky and Jerry had received about Jerry's actions were provided to them from Joni. After the interview, I assisted Sergeant Bailey. Okay, now hold on a minute. I have to quickly open the door over here because I'm going to let some cool air in. Hold on a minute. Well, that feels good, and it's raining. I power washed like crazy today. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see now. Where are we? So this is, it's about his search warrant. Okay. This is just, that's for the search warrant. We've already seen that. We've already read that in the other documents. This is what they took. We already read that. Okay, continuation. That we already heard. I wonder why they didn't mention those crosses on the photos. And what was on her phone? Let's see. All right, let's read this now. On July 16th, 2021, I, Corporal Tribble, made contact with Joni's sister, Sharon Nicole Hash, a.k.a. Sharon Holder. I thought they said it was Shannon. At her residence, Charlotte County, Florida. I asked Sharon about Joni's overall mental health condition, with special attention to the day of the murder. She explained that Joni has progressively battled severe depression. Sharon said that they were not very close siblings, as since Sharon moved away when she turned 18, she said she would occasionally visit Joni, who has always resided with their parents. Sharon said she would sometimes lock herself up in her room for days, only coming out to use the restroom or eat. She said during these times, Joni was extremely moody. When she was not depressed, Joni was happy. Sharon said the most violent Joni has ever become was cussing and yelling. She said the shooting was a shock and not consistent with her normal behavior. Sharon said at the hospital Joni appeared fine. They were all relatively excited to go out to eat as a family. She corroborated Joni taking their father home while Gregory went home separately. Sharon said she waited for them to call and advise when they were ready to go to the restaurant, but no one ever called. She said she later found out it was due to the shooting. Sharon denied receiving a text from Joni confessing to the shooting, and she said she heard from family. Okay, on the same date, I submitted a subpoena to Bayfront Health in reference to all nurses, doctors, or health practitioners who had any contact with Gregory Truman. Okay. On 8/5/2021, I made contact with Vicki Holder. I asked Vicki about Joni's mental health and if she had ever exhibited violent behavior before. Vicki said Joni suffered from severe anxiety and depression, but was not a violent person. She could not recall specific doctors' names, but she did say Joni was diagnosed by a medical professional for anxiety and depression. On the same date, I collected the DeSoto County Fire Rescue Run reports and pre-hospital care report regarding the emergency response to the shooting of Gregory Truman. I also obtained a previous report regarding an incident. Okay, and this is that case. In 2021, it was 2 months before. The case involved an incident where Joni was concerned she may be kidnapped by an inmate, David Rory, she was seeing in a long-distance relationship while married. She said they had ceased contact in December 2020, but she wanted to make a report to law enforcement. She said while they were dating, he told her he would come get her once he was out of jail, so she wanted it documented. On 8/9/2021, I attached a DVD with the medical examiner's office scene and autopsy photographs. On 8/9/2021, I contacted each of the Bayfront employees and left a voicemail. Okay. None of them remembered who Gregory Truman was. Great. Okay, we read that already. That was when she was seeing that guy in jail. Pre-hospital. Okay. That's about him. Obvious death. Obvious death. Let's see if there's any toxicology. On May 20th, 2021, Corporal Manuel Hissock called me and advised me Joni Truman was talking about killing Gregory while incarcerated in jail. 2 female inmate trustees had informed Corporal Hissock that Joni had said, "You don't know what it's like being in a situation or relationship that you can't get out of, so I got myself out of it. Yeah, I shot him, but you don't know my circumstances." They also claimed she started screaming, "Yeah, I did it, I'm crazy, and I'd do it again. Y'all are messing with someone who has a mental disability." That was all the female trustees could remember her saying. I informed Corporal Hissock to complete an incident report and provided it to me when finished. And we saw those interviews yesterday, right? Yeah, you think so, little lady? Okay, that was getting them there and doing it. Let's see. Okay, I first spoke with Jennifer, who said she heard Joni arguing with Kimberly Brazel in jail. Jennifer stated that Kimberly told Joni she may have shot her husband, but was not so tough in jail without a gun. Jennifer said Joni told her she did kill her husband and would do it again. I swore Jennifer to her verbal statement and then spoke to Kimberly, who was also incarcerated. Kimberly confirmed the above and said that she and Joni were in an argument. She said that they began arguing about personal space because Joni got in her face. Kimberly said she pushed her face away and Joni and Kimberly began to bicker. Kimberly said she told Joni that she may have shot her husband, but she was not so tough now without a gun. She said that Joni told her she did kill her husband and she would do it again. I swore Kimberly to her verbal statements. Okay, let me see. Miranda warnings were not read. Okay. Here's the laboratory report. Let's see, the pistol. That's it there. You think Joni had a drug problem? Yeah, probably. Hold on just 1 second. I gotta get a drink. That was a lot. Whew. So, Joni, right? So everybody wants to know what the freak's going on with Joni. Now, here's the funny thing. I can't figure out what's going on with Joni. Let me see. What I'm trying to find out. Now, she confessed. So let's see. So let's see. When I go back through here, okay, I cannot see where this woman has had a trial. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a minute. No. Hang on. So weird. Let's see if she was sentenced. Hold on a minute. I've got her mugshot. Let's see. It's very odd. I'm going to have to send something to the sheriff's office or something because it doesn't, unless she still hasn't been, like it's, there's nothing more. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It is crazy. It is crazy. Okay. All right, back. I'm back. Whew. So, yeah. I think Joni had the drug problem. I think that this poor guy Gregory didn't do any of the stuff that she said, and I think she had her parents completely snowed, and it's probably, I don't know why, she probably had them manipulated her whole life, and that's why, what's her name? Well, they said Shannon, and then they called her Sharon. I don't know, got out of the house. So, that's what I have there. Wow, that's a lot, right? Tomorrow we're going to have a craft night before true crime, and I think we might do another deep dive on something that I have, some other stuff. But that's that case, and I'm trying to see what else is going on. I did a lot of power washing today. Oh my gosh. Crazy amount of power washing. Luke caught a big smallmouth. They put that up. I have another video I've got to get up short. I think it was all her. Yeah, little lady, I agree. Agree. All right, let's take a look at what else is going on. Let's see what else is going on. You know that Food Network chef? How did she die? Let's see. They said that she was dozens of pills. A Long Island, listen to this, Bucky. A Long Island child therapist pled guilty in federal court to sharing sexually explicit videos of children. Renee Hoberman, 37, was initially arrested on October 21st after posing online as an adult male who bragged that he had, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Missing New York mother. Amherst, who's that? Amherst is that Westchester? Amherst police in New York are asking the public searching for a 38-year-old woman. I wonder if she was found. I don't know. I think it's way upstate by Buffalo. Yeah. All right, let me see here. Oh, look at this. I can't even, this kid looks like, just tell me how old you think this guy is. While I get a drink, I'm going to let you decide how old you think he is. All right? Put it in there how old you think he is, and I'm going to get a drink. All right? All right. And I'm going to look when I get back how old you think he is. Let me find you guys. Okay. Let me get a drink. Oh boy, what should I have? What should I have? Oh, why does he always do that? Luke always changed the ice machine on me. Raining again. We had a nice day today. Yeah, I got some power washing done. It's supposed to be nice. Hopefully tomorrow. I want to take everything out of the turtle tank and power wash everything. And clean out the turtle tank thoroughly, you know. I like to do that a couple times a year. That it's going to be a nice sunny day. We'll do that. Okay. Whew. All right, let's see. She had a psychotic break from not taking her prescribed meds and was doing drugs. Her mood intolerance was low. Yeah, but it seemed like she had a history of stuff, didn't she? So with it, that not the lady with the spiky hair. How old do you think the guy is? You're saying 21, 22, 25. He's 28. He's a teacher and he was scammed. Okay, he's a Texas teacher and he alleges he lost his entire life savings in a sophisticated banking scam. So he said it really felt like the end of the world, I imagine. His name is Russell Lehigh. And he was scammed out of $32,000 after sending money to someone he thought was a representative of Chase Bank. He said he has never traveled or went out on weekends in an effort to save the money, and he couldn't believe how sophisticated it was. All right, let's see what happened here. He said the scammers called him pretending that they worked for Chase Bank and telling him his account had been compromised and that he needed to move his money to a new secure account for his protection. The fraudsters sent him text messages and banking information that appeared to be authentic. He couldn't believe how sophisticated it was. The scheme happened quickly, leaving Leahy feeling violated and vulnerable. It's been extremely violating. He said, I've never had a situation like this where my personal identity, my money, and my well-being have been at the forefront of being taken advantage of. Chase Bank returned just over $2,000, he said, but told him he wasn't covered by fraud protection. Chase explained the difference between fraud and scams. According to the bank, fraud on a bank account involves someone illegally accessing someone else's money and making withdrawals, transfers, or purchases without the account holder's permission. A scam, the Chase representative said, is a deceptive scheme or trick used to cheat someone out of their money or other valuable assets. Scammers often use false pretenses, misleading information, or deceptive activities to manipulate victims into giving up something of value. Scams can take many forms, including counterfeit or non-existing products sold on social media marketplaces. That happens all the time. I showed you that one with the gorilla cart. Phishing emails, fake websites, caller IDs, spoofed caller IDs on mobile phones, faked profiles on dating sites, and fake jobs on job boards, among others. Despite needing the money back desperately, he said he hopes sharing his story will prevent others from falling a victim. I'd rather be the sacrificial lamb for the rest of the people and maybe save other people's money from being stolen. I'm really looking to move ahead and move on with my life and not have to start over from scratch. Both Chase Bank and Leahy recommend that anyone receiving suspicious calls hang up, contact their bank directly using the phone number. I just hope this doesn't end the way, hold on a minute. Both Chase and Leahy recommend that anybody doing that or call or visit a branch. I just hope it doesn't end the way that this did. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay, well, I don't know what it is. It's probably because I was power washing all day. I'm feeling like unbelievably tired. Yeah, the lady with the spiky hair, yeah. Sassy. So tired. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. I gotta take care of myself and get some rest after this. And then tomorrow we'll do some more stuff. It's power washing. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. This is really a lot of money to do this, and you know, we're gonna see it through. All right, guys. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Be good. Stay safe. Go watch the other videos. Share them out. Do anything. Anything's helpful. Okay? And let me find out where we are so I can shut this off. Okay, here we go. All right. Good night.